Right now we are putting leaves into the smoker and lighting the leaves on fire so that we can smoke the bees when we get to the hive to alert them and make them think there's a fire so they're not as aggressive. This is also completely safe for the bees and it does no danger to them. Sometimes it takes a couple tries to get a good smoke. As you can see, we're starting to get a better smoke.
There are 4 hives.
But the hive that we will be attending to today is the most aggressive out of the 4, which is why I will be standing as the cameraman rather than doing the actual work. We also like to use a tin and a wheelbarrow to put the honey in once we've gotten it.
The white sand around the hive
To protect the ants from getting into the hive, because the ants do eat a lot of the honey, which is not good for the bees, which is why you might see a powder around all of the hives.
What we do,
take off the metal board, and then we will take this hive tool and we will loosen up the hinges on the top of the hive and we'll take it off. You might notice that the top part of the hive is much smaller than the bottom, and this is because the top has a protected layer just for honey.
when you see little black beetles in the hive,
You have to kill them because they do eat a lot of the honey and they can get the bees sick. And the black stuff here, this is called propolis. It's an excess wax formula that the bees make, and they will have it on a lot of the edges like this, the top. This is just all propolis. Here we are trying to take out these frames. As you can see, these are full of honey and we are able to take it without taking any honey from the bees. And these more aggressive bees do make honey rapidly, much quicker than other bees. And you're gonna smoke the honey slightly just to get the extra bees off. Just lightly brushing off the bees.
There's a queen separator, so there's no way there's going to be a queen.
If you can see towards the bottom, there's a metal separator, and this makes sure the queen cannot get through into this area and making sure that there are no babies in this honey area. The queen is the largest bee in the hive, which some of you guys might know, which is why they won't be able to fit through that tiny middle hole. Yet the other bees will. Here is another perfectly good honey frame, which is very exciting. They might try to come into your soup, but the best thing to do is just to stay calm and they won't be curious. 5th consecutive full frame of honey. Perfect frame of honey. And we are not taking the honey from the bees when they capped it. When they have the honey capped, it means that they will not going back in to eat it.
So we leave.
We thought this was an African bee hive, which is technically some of the most aggressive bees, but they're not very aggressive today. We're gonna leave these 3 frames for the bees, but we're gonna close up the hive as quick as possible. And if you'd like to see, this is where they enter. And we do have, why is it that we have a wood piece at the front of the hive?
It's so when it's really windy out, not a lot of wind gets into the hive.
Exactly, because the wind can really hurt the bees. Make sure that we get all the bees off, so when we get closer to the house, there aren't as many bees. And as you can tell, this is full of honey. How many pounds would you say of honey this is?
Probably 30 pounds. They get really aggressive around your head. You just kind of spray
smoke
yourself.
yourself. You hold your breath and you smoke yourself. Wheel it back towards the house.
So I'm going to explain all the tools we use to get the honey out of the frames. So we use this cheesecloth, and you put the honey in and it helps separate the wax from the honey so you don't have wax in your honey, which I don't think any of you would like to have. And we use this, so you go like, I'm not going to do it now, I'll show you guys later, but you go like this and it helps get the honey all out and it oozes out, and it helps just easier access to get the honey out. And we use this. This is really, really hot. I've burned myself and it hurts a lot. This is a heated knife, and we use this to cut the top of the frame off, the top of the honey off, and also it helps the honey come out easier. One way you could get the honey out of the frame. Another way is this. It's a little spinner. So if you take the top off, you see this, and you can spin it with this handle. So you put these frames in, and you put them one by one in after you do the heated knife, and you spin it, spin it, spin it. It spins a lot until all the honey will come off, and it will all get in here. And you could see this here, it comes out of that. here you see we're using the heated knife that I explained before just to cut the top of the honey off for easier access for the honey, and we're using the scraper tool to scrape it for easier access. Now we're spinning the frames of the honey to get the excess honey after we have scraped the honey with the heated knife and the tool. And here's a little view of the honey after we spun it with the frames and the spinner thing. So now Libby is squeezing all the honey out, so all the honey without the wax comes out, and it's so satisfying. And then really heavy pours into a big, large container where all the honey is, and I think it's so satisfying again. And then we're pouring all the honey out of the spinner thing, and again, so satisfying. And then here are all the containers when we're done.